Hi. Today we're going to be starting the Greeks, and then after we finish the Greeks, we'll move on to the Romans. So today we're going to start with a little bit of geography and the cultures of the mountains and the sea. You know, in ancient times, Greece was not a united country. It was a collective of separate lands where the Greek-speaking people lived. By 3000 BCE, though, the Minoans lived on the large Greek island of Crete. Now, the Minoans created an elegant civilization. They had great power in the Mediterranean world, and at the same time, people from the plains along the Black Sea and Anatolia migrated and settled in the mainland part of Greece. So ancient Greece actually consisted mainly of mountainous peninsulas jutting out into the Mediterranean Sea, as you can see from the map here. This is all the Mediterranean Sea here. And also included about 2,000 islands in the Aegean and the Ionian Seas. So the region's physical geography basically tied directly into shaping the Greek traditions and customs of this country. So Greek public life was outdoors. The climate was amenable to this, and most of their buildings are open-air buildings. The Greeks, because of where they lived, became excellent sailors because they had to sail from place to place in the Mediterranean in order to make those trades. So the Aegean, the Ionian, and the Black Sea became the most important transportation routes that linked parts of Greece. And sea travel and trade were important because Greece didn't have very many resources. They lacked timber, they lacked metals, and they lacked usable farmland. Even though the climate was temperate, this was still a very rocky area to live in. And these rugged mountains covered about 3/4 of the ancient Greece mainland. So mountains divided the land into different regions. So there were some people who lived in the mountains, some people who lived in the valleys. Significantly, though, this made land travel more difficult. And so sea travel becomes even more important. And these communities that developed were small and independent communities from each other. They all spoke Greek, but they never were able to support a very large population because there's not very much farmland and there's very little fresh water. Now, climate was probably the most important environmental influence on Greek civilization. They had a varied climate. The temperatures ranged from 48 degrees Fahrenheit in the wintertime to 80 degrees Fahrenheit in the summer. And in ancient times, these moderate temperatures supported that outdoor life for many of the Greek citizens. Men spent a lot of their leisure time at outdoor public events, and they met often to discuss public issues and exchange news and take an active part in civic life. So a large wave of Indo-Europeans migrated from the Eurasian steppes to Europe, India, and Southwest Asia. Some of the people who settled in the Greek mainland around 2000 BCE were later known as Mycenaeans. The name came from their leading city called Mycenae. Now, Mycenae was located in southern Greece on a steep, rocky ridge that was surrounded by a protective wall more than 20 feet thick. The fortified city of Mycenae could withstand almost any attack. From Mycenae, a warrior king ruled the surrounding villages and farms. Strong rulers controlled the area around the Mycenaean cities such as Tiryns and Athens. These Greeks dominated Greece from about maybe 1600 to 1100 BCE. Not long after the Trojan War, the Mycenaean civilization began to collapse. It was around 1200 BCE that sea raiders attacked and burned many Mycenaean cities. And according to tradition, a new group of people, the Dorians, moved into this war-torn countryside. Now, the Dorians spoke a dialect of Greek and may have been distant relatives of the Bronze Age, but the Dorians were far less advanced than the Mycenaeans. Under their rule, the economy collapsed, trade eventually came to a standstill, and soon after their arrival. Most important to historians, though, is Greeks appear to have temporarily lost the art of writing during the Dorian Age. There's no written record that exists from a 400-year period between 1150 and 750 BCE. So since there's little known about this period of time, it's called the Greek Dark Ages. Lacking writing, the Greeks at this time learned about their history through spoken word. And according to tradition, the greatest storyteller was a blind man named Homer. Little is known of his personal life, by the way. So some historians believe that Homer composed his epics narrative poems celebrating heroic deeds sometime between 750 and 700 BCE, a short period of time. The Trojan War formed the backdrop for one of Homer's greatest epic poems, the Iliad. The heroes of the Iliad are warriors, the fierce Greek Achilles and the courageous and noble-hearted Hector of Troy. The Greeks developed a rich set of myths and traditional stories about their gods. Greeks attributed human qualities such as love and hate and jealousy to their gods, and the gods quarreled and they competed with each other constantly. However, unlike humans, the gods live forever. So Zeus, the ruler of the gods, lived on Mount Olympus with his wife Hera. Hera was often jealous of Zeus's relationship with other women. Athena, goddess of wisdom, was Zeus's daughter and his favorite child. The Greek thought of Athena as the guardian of the cities, especially of Athens, which was named in her honor.